Let's get going. Hello. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me and see me okay, everybody?
Let me refresh mine.
See myself and the volume's down. Okay, great. That looks good. Hello, Sandy. Sheree just told me you're at work. Thanks for chiming in the chat. Oh, yeah, I see you. You're at work and Sheree. So we've just got, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna do my usual welcome to my channel, everybody, because this is private. This is just for the members. We're all family here. You are all the intuitives in the family. Is there anything you'd like to share, Sherry, before we start?
Well, a lot going on in the world right now. It's hard to keep up with everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't read too much into all these air aircraft crashes. It's actually this same amount of crashes for this time of year as any other year. In fact, it's a little bit under last year. You got to
Yeah,
remember that it's just what they show you. They want you to know that this, for some reason, they want it out there.
I think it's for a reset of the computers and everything that they're kind of pushing. Because everything is so outdated.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Does it tell us how many people are in the chat right now? I'm gonna wait for.
I'm not.
I want to wait for some people to show up before I start talking about this dream that I seem to be in right now. I'm keep expecting to wake up any minute now.
I can
Or
understand.
yeah. Let's see. Where does it say how many people are here?
I'm
Yeah,
not seeing any numbers tonight, and I'm
members.
just seeing Sandy and myself.
Okay. Mhm. Well, there better be pilots because I'm getting a Gulfstream 700G, and that doesn't fly by itself. So that's one of
Definitely.
that's one of the things. And where does it say how many people are in the chat? I mean, I know it's just Sandy and you right now in the chat.
Yeah, usually it says up there top messages and it gives a number of people that are watching, but so far I'm not.
So Honey's not going to be joining for a while. Um, she's going through this with her father, and that's got to finish before she can be on. Live chat conversation. What's it say? Open panel.
Yeah, underneath the more it says 3 likes, nothing and above viewers, and the date.
I mean, people will be able to come back and watch in the replay.
True.
Um, which is weird because usually it says it here. What is this button? No. Oh, so let's see. This is where you start a poll. Let's see. Where do I write the?
Oh, Sunny came on.
Hello, Sunny. Thanks for joining. Yeah, she can't say so. She's okay. I'm here. I'm going to try something new here, and I'm just going to play around since when it's like this, I don't feel any pressure to entertain or anything. Just hanging out with friends. So I'm gonna drop this question in the poll. You see, how can I phrase this? Forget about it. Okay, I can't think of anything. So, anyways, I just found this place where there's a poll. I can do a poll. Start a Q&A. What is this? To say something. It says start a Q&A. Say something. What does this do? Uh-huh. We just changed that. What is that in the chat? See that?
It says, welcome to my Q&A.
Yeah. And then what is it? How is this different from regular chat?
Well,
So just from from all free recently uploaded. Okay, and then if I want to end it, so could I do this during my lives to like quiet the end Q and then it says end Q&A. Just type up something in there, Sheree, or can you? Questions, see questions, live chat, question, answer viewer questions live, top chat, live chat. Oh, I see. So I can go between the top chat and the live chat.
okay, I put in, how are you, question mark.
But
You see?
that's in the regular chat. That's not in the Q&A.
Okay, so if I hit the three little dots on the right-hand side, it says go to channel, so I'm going to try that.
Welcome to my Q&A.
Well, that just takes me to your main page with your videos.
End Q&A. So let me see. I'm gonna end the Q&A. So how could I use this in my chat?
I think you have to set it up before you go live.
No, it wouldn't be available here. Engage your audience. It says
Hmm,
engage your
okay.
audience, start a Q&A, and then so I hit that and ask questions here. Start Q&A. So now all the chat disappears and it's just a Q&A, right?
Okay, now we've got a bigger black box. It says ask
Right.
questions here.
That I just typed that. Ask questions here.
Okay, gotcha. Hmm, neat.
Well, did you type something where it says ask questions here?
Okay,
Or Sandy, you can try it too. Anybody who's listening. I want to see how this feature works. Questions. See, I
says
can
questions.
I can also go, oh, okay.
Does it show up on your end?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
So that's in the Q&A. And that would be separate from the regular chat. I can go to the regular chat, right?
So that would kind of put questions up on top for you rather than having to read through all of the
Right. Yeah,
chatting.
like Sunny's writing testing. Huh. how 8-year travel plans going? How are? Uh, yeah. Okay. So if I put this up during my lives, the Q&A, I can toggle between those, and then I can go back to the chat. So I should start doing this then.
Yeah, because that way you wouldn't have to read all of the chatter to get to the questions.
Right. Yeah, this is awesome. So let me see this again. Let me toggle again from go to no, where is it? Oh, it's the live chats. There's a button up here that says live chat, and from there I can go to super chats. I can put it all, and I can see this way I can see all the super chats. Um, I can go to the Q&A page, and I can go to the live chat, and then it has top chat. Okay, that's really awesome. I'm going to remember that next time.
Definitely.
And what's Sandy says, I can't see the questions. I just asked how to. Okay, so Sandy, look look at the top where it says here, let me share my screen.
Yeah, it's not showing the questions on my other phone.
That's you have to go to that you have to go to the Q&A page of the chat. Here, I'm going to show you. Okay. Well, of course, this is on the computer. It'll be different on your phone. Hi, Sarah. Oh, but Honey won't be able to see the questions. Just keep that in mind. That's
Yeah,
yeah. Well, no, everybody should. And this is what I want to show you. So you see here where it says live chat and there's a drop down menu. So from here, everybody should be able to do this. And I don't know if on your phone how you do it. Can you find that on your phone?
yeah, I've
Okay,
got
so
live chat.
Sandy, you
Yeah,
see your question. Sunny wrote testing. Okay, you guys see that?
yeah, on your computer, but it's not showing up on my phone.
Okay, and I go back to the live chat. So let me see on my phone what it looks like on my phone. Okay, guys, I will tell you about what's going on with
Oh,
my this the title of
okay.
this in just a minute. I'm just playing around here.
Okay.
What's that, Sheree?
Okay. On the phone, above there where it says live chat, top messages, and to the right hand side, there's little bars, 3 bars. If you
Mm-hmm.
tap on that, it has chat filter, top messages, all messages, fan
Back
fun.
up, back up. Go against. Where do I start? The little gear wheel at where it says live chat.
Yeah, live chat. Then over there to the right, just before
Yeah.
the X to close it, you have the
Hmm.
3 little bars. Hit
Okay,
that. It says top messages, all messages, or fan funding. And I just hit
but
all messages.
it doesn't have the Q&A.
Let me see what all messages say here. Hold on.
Did you see mine? So it
Mm,
looks like only I can see the Q&A then, I think.
yeah, Sunny says, we as the audience can only ask a question. We cannot see what others are asking.
Correct. Okay, that clears that up.
Okay,
Okay, so when I'm doing my solos, I can use the Q&A, but for Honey, it wouldn't work. Okay, I
right.
understand. Okay, chat filter and okay, cool. Community moderation. We're about to all messages. but it does have the where you can go in there and see all the super chats. So that'll be an easy way to find. Okay, so let me turn off this Q&A.
Okay,
Okay, learn something new. It's always fun in the Q&A.
definitely.
And okay, and so if you're in the chat right now, just besides the people that already have spoken, say hello in the chat. Let me see how many people we got
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to make a fresh glass of tea. I'll be right back.
here. And I still can't figure out where to see how many people are watching. Oh yeah, where it says viewers, there's nothing. Chat. Hmm. Oh, I don't see. Okay, there we go. All right, maybe it's something because it's members only that it doesn't tell me how many people are watching, but all right. So, and you can't have three filters at once. Fan funding takes me out. Yeah. Yeah, the fan funding, that's only the super chat. So if you want to find a super chat real quick instead of scrolling through the chat, that's how you would do that.
Okie dokie, I'm back again.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about this email I got yesterday. Um, I think it's okay if I talk about it here. Like how many people are in my members? So if you're listening to this in replay or if you're listening right now live, what I'm about to tell you is private. Okay. It's not meant for the general public. So everybody raise your right hand and say, I swear to not divulge this information outside of this room.
I so swear.
Okay. All right. And so, yeah. So yesterday I get this email. I'm going to share it with you. My full screen. This freaking toolbar is always in the way. Okay. So this is from Tina Nadine. And this was yesterday. I woke up and she sent it at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just going to read it. Grand Rising. My name is Tina Nadine from Melbourne, Australia. Um, you did a tarot card reading via Zoom 3 years ago for me. I promised that I would donate to your healing center for animals once the statement revaluation would happen globally. That was 3 years ago. Now, I don't remember this particular person 3 years ago. She only had one reading with me. However, I did look up her name in my email contacts, and she's there. So I can confirm that whoever's wherever this email came from, it's the same one that I met 3 years ago. Why can I not adjust this? Should be able to make this bigger. There we go. Okay. So, what I'm saying is, I know that this email didn't come from somebody I don't know or something like that. So I do know the person, even though I can't really recall what they look like or anything like that or the questions they asked. Okay, so she says, I have invested in crypto ICOs, initial coin offerings, full on for the last 6 months with a Telegram investment group, Whiplash 347 Crypto. The owner of the Telegram has been following and investing with Whiplash for over 5 years now. Now the owner wanted to bless us all that wanted to invest in cryptos. I took a leap of faith and started investing, and I'm so glad I listened to my inner knowing. So I've put a property submission for you to, no. So I have put a property submission for you where you live. Okay, so what does that sound like to you, that line right there, Cherie?
Yeah, it sounds like she did pretty good in crypto and she's looking into
She put
purchasing.
in a property submission. What, so this group that she's in, they are able to buy properties for people, and so she put in my name in this for this.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, and she's also buying me a new motorcycle. Uh, I also requested when the team in Australia purchased to buy safety equipment for the motorcycle. She forwarded me the details, which she did, and they're just links to these items that she's talking about. Um, the building, actually, she sent me the link to this warehouse that would be the center, the healing center, and it's really cool. I used to drive by it all the time. It's this huge warehouse, like 150 yards long and 80 yards wide,
Oh,
huge
wow.
space. It could fit thousands of animals easily.
Mm,
Okay, so and by the way, that was about $1 million for that place. That
wow.
let's see. By the way, the property that I am gifting you should come with a med bed. Um, but I'm not too sure what type of med bed would be. Any type, give me your cheapest model med bed. I'd be happy with it.
As long
Uh,
as it works, that's all it counts.
that could assist with human and animal in your center. Uh, I also wanted to gift you a Gulf Stream that you would need to fly back to your mom, sister, and honey, golden and followers, etc. Oh, is that all? A Gulfstream
Yeah.
and a Gulfstream private jet. And this isn't any Gulfstream. She sent me the link for it. It's the newest model. It's a 700G, and it's a stretch version. It has a bedroom with beds. It's got fold out beds. It's got a lounge area with a TV. It's got several TVs. It's pretty cool. Uh, I'll post a link to the like the tour of the airplane.
Wow.
Please don't fall off your chair reading this email. Please feel free to pull cards on the above. It actually means if real, or I will follow the details. I have to put in the submission for you. I will follow up the details that I have put in the submission for you. Okay, so this submission, there's like a group of people who maybe have they're a collective or a consortium, and they have a pool of money, and from that they can dole it out to humanitarian projects.
That's what
Is
it
that
sounds like.
okay? You know what? Now she says I could pull cards on this, and I explain here actually. Is this the one where I speak to her? I almost never look at email on my computer, so gets confusing trying to figure this out. Where's my answer to this? My reply. Hi, Tina. Oh yeah, it's here. Yeah, okay. So this is my reply. There's some things you should know about. So I have had about half a dozen people or more make the same promise that she's made. And so in the back of my mind, I have been expecting to get some kind of email like this eventually, where somebody says, "Hey, the funding's come through and I'm going to send it to you," you know? So I wasn't completely shocked by this email. Okay. Instead of reading my own email, the thing about reading on something that I have a bias, so I want to believe this, right? And I have a lot of reasons to believe this.
Hmm.
So I have a confirmation bias, and this is why it's hard to read times. And I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute here because I'm going to go ahead and do it. So you guys in the chat, if you're still there, how do I ask this question in a way where my own bias won't conf conflict? You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Um, ask the cards if this person is being truthful to begin with, I guess.
Mm, I the person Tina Nadine, she's being truthful. Okay, she believes in this. That part. I don't have any question about that. In fact, I
Okay.
talked to Honey about this. She got that as well.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I think it's more important to look at the collective that she's talking about. When she says that she submitted this, she submitted it, right?
Hmm.
Those are the ones who are going to make the
Decide.
purchases. Um,
So they have to vote on it since it's a collective. They'll be voting on whether to go through with it or not
well,
fully.
no, that you have to go back before that. Is that even real? Do they have the money, and are they really going to be, you know, giving it out?
Yeah.
Please feel free to pull cards, she says. And the message I got from Honey was that she feels that there's something off, and she feels that Tina Nadine has the best of intentions, and she's uh, for real, but who she's dealing with. Anyways, let me read the her reply to me after I said, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to accept your gift."
Hmm.
I was starting to think you were hesitant to email me back because you did not want me to disappoint me. Disappoint. I don't quite understand what she's saying there, even though I mean she did kind of make a typo or a mistake in her grammar there, but oh, awesome. I invested in Australia gold coin in the ICS. So this is what we need to be looking at. Okay. Through the Lobster Wallet app. Do you know what that is?
Like I said, I've
Anybody?
heard of different wallets, but I'm not into crypto, so I haven't really dug into it all.
Okay. Owner, head of ICO, initial coin offering is Sam Moston. All right, let's Google Sam Moston real quick. Am I sharing? I'm not sharing, am I?
No.
All right. Sam Moston, by the way, Sam is a man, a woman. She continues later to refer to her as a her, so Samantha or whatever. And find a Google server. Okay. How do you spell that last name?
Um,
Mostyn. Okay, there it is right there. General, Governor General. Okay, so Ms. Sam Mostyn. Let's look at the wiki page. Born in 65, a couple years younger than me, is an Australian businesswoman and advocate serving Governor General of Australia since 2024, so not long. Mostyn has been an outspoken advocate of climate change, gender equality.
um,
Well, I guess that's not that's okay. I mean, that's just like, women's rights. Australian Football League, blah blah blah. Um, okay, what's her career? What does she do now? So, what is her office? She's a what now? Governor General of Australia. What is a Governor General of Australia? Is the federal representative of the monarch of Australia, currently Charles III. Yeah. Um, the Governor General has many constitutional and ceremonial roles in the Australian political system, in which they independent agency. However, they are generally bound by convention to act on the advice of the Prime Minister and the federal. Okay, so this is a real person. We established that.
mhm.
And so I think the thing that I could look at with the cards is uh, um,
Sunny
this
says she's the
Australian
lobster
group.
woman. Sunny says she's heard
What's that?
of Lobster Wallet before and know of other people that have used it.
The lobster. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, and I want to look at this Australian gold group. So let me see. It's a ICO initial coin offering head of the ICO. Okay, so this is what we need. I invested in Australian gold coin. AUG is the ICO in crypto. So Honey mentioned that she thought that the person that Tina Nadine is depending on, the Sam Mostyn person, could not be legitimate, right? But she wasn't sure either. So
Okay.
let's start there. I'm going to do a reading on this person of integrity. Are they uh, are they trying to things like that? What kind of person is this? Is this someone, this Sam Mostyn person? Is this person trustworthy? And what are their intentions towards Nadine and the rest of the group that is in the Whiplash 347. Okay. That's how we're going to ask the question. And I'm going to be open to, as much as I want this to be real, I'm going to be open to it could be not real. Right. So I'm going to
Oh,
try not to let my confirmation bias cloud my reading. Okay. So this is Sam Moston. Sam's a woman. Okay. Well, that's immediately the Hierophant. So Sam Moston is definitely a person with some uh, some power or a high position in government, right? And this they have access to a great deal of money.
hmm.
An Ace of Swords, they speak the truth. This is something that has been long in coming. We've been waiting for it for a very long time. That's been the challenge is the time it takes, and then the 10 of Cups, which is like a happy ending and dreams coming true. And so, oh, there's my jet, Cherie,
Uh-huh.
the chariot, and there's my house with the swimming pool.
Oh my goodness, go.
Oh, and the med bed, by the way. This could be a med bed. So, yeah. There's no I can't be biased in this. I can't There's no fudging the answer here. I mean, this is yes, this person is in control of some kind of larger organization that has access to a lot of money, and they speak the
Wow.
truth, and they are going to make a lot of people was really nervous about this because I didn't want to get, it's bullshit. So we're on a good I got chills going all up and down my spine.
I'm gonna go down to the ankles.
Still doesn't mean I'm going to get all these things that she's saying I'm going to get. Especially the Gulfstream jet is worth $70 million. And for both of us, for Sheree and me, that was like, okay, maybe the house, which is $300,000. The
And maybe
motorcycle, I could see that. Um,
in the warehouse, but
hmm?
the but the jet was kind of
Well,
like,
that's a million.
now Lady T was saying to
But
ask the
yeah,
cards if
70.
this is for your highest good.
What?
Lady T,
If it's well, that that's another question altogether because um I was supposed to inherit $2 million back in 1990. It's a true story. I have a relative in, who was a pirate basically and has $900 million and my name was attached to that. I've got a document that says it, and I'm sure that if I had been given $2 million when I was 21 years old or whatever, it would have killed me. I wouldn't be sitting here today, and I certainly wouldn't have become enlightened and been on a path to ascension if I had all that money back when I was that young.
very true.
All right, that's a good question, Lady T. But before I do that, I want to go on with reading the rest of her email here. Well, and I have to tell you that reading I just did got me really excited.
Yes.
Honey did it, but you know what? Honey's not in a good place right now. Um, so I'm thinking maybe she's not in touch with her higher self as much as she should be because of what's going on with her father. And she didn't say outright either. She told me that I should use my cards and trust in that. All right, so go back to this. Okay, this is the original one. Okay, then so this was her second reply to me. Oh wait, no. Okay, she says, "Phew, Scott." Oh yeah, she was starting to worry. So, oh, awesome. I invested in. Okay, this is the next thing. So we look. So okay, sorry, I'm scatterbrained. We established that Sam Moston is a person with authority over wealth, and it's going to create a very happy time for a lot of people. Okay, we got that. The Ten of Cups is
Right.
the outcome. Uh, that chariot next to it. Uh, well, this is my confirmation bias. When I saw the chariot, I saw a jet. That's what I saw. you know. Then the king, the king of the castle. And he has his own house, and my house comes with a swimming pool. So that's how my confirmation bias works. But I could also read it another way that the chariot is victory, and returning sovereignty, the king of cups being sovereignty, right? So I can look at it that way too. So the next thing is this Australian investment group. Gold, what I want to get the name right again, so I'm clear on my reading. Australian gold coin is the ICO in crypto. Owner had Sam Moston, and she is the governor of Australia. Google her if you will. Okay, so AUG, Australian Gold Company Consortium. Oh, I can't read that. All right, so let's do this one. The Australian Gold Group. Let's see if it's for real. We're just looking at it. What does the universe want to tell us about it?
Okay. Can we see your cards, please?
Yeah, I'm shuffling first.
Okay.
And can you monitor the chat? Let me know if people have any comments or questions or observations.
And Sandy says, "Great reading, Scott." Um, Sandy also said that she left those Telegram groups a few years ago. Negative
Yeah.
48, whiplash 347. Supposed to be
Mhm.
Princess Diana. Lady T is, oh no, Anna Koch, prayers to honey.
Yeah, I never got into those groups. I did a little bit, and it always just seemed like chasing your tail or something, you know what I mean? But I also, it's like the way I operate. There are other people who do that that will then bring it to me, and that's exactly what happened. This is I just try to be like a conduit for things to come to me. And well, my confidence is building so much ever since that 777 synchronicity with the days, number of days, 7,770 days. And then that with my name being 777,
Mm-hmm.
that just skyrocketed my confidence in my intuition and my connectedness to source and synchronicities. Um, okay, so we're looking at the AUG group or whatever, the Australian gold thing. Let's see what we get. I'm gonna shuffle a little bit more. You guys can see me shuffle. This is something not a lot of tarot card readers do. They don't show themselves shuffling the cards. Or if they do, they people who shuffle like this, big blocks of cards. I don't know. I don't
With
get
my
that.
small hands, that's the way I have to shuffle.
You can get smaller decks.
Yeah, but I like my big deck.
What? What did you say?
But yeah,
A deck, deck. Oh, sorry.
I like my bigger
Kings,
card.
King of Swords. Another good start to this one. So this
Hmm.
is the group. So they have legal authority. So this is saying that's a legitimate card. Three of Cups. So a group. All right, that's celebrating.
Hmm.
Uh, she says she started doing this 6 months ago, and here's a Page of Pentacles, starting something new with money. There's that ten of cups again.
Celebrate.
And there's the King of Swords, which is victory, and also it's like just common sense. Um, because something like this is not woo-woo stuff. This is and also I should say that this money is going to be is being used in the battle against good and evil, so it's uh it's it's bringing this energy into the people. King of Pentacles, there you go. And again, so this is saying, and that's the gold right there. And
Definitely.
it looks like it's being guided by the Alliance, the Offworlders, the or Ascended Masters. So this is not. It's like a think of it as a collaboration between the spiritual guides and those who control things in 3D world, or the real world, nuts and bolts. All right, so
That's good.
the group is legit. Um, what else can we look at? So I guess we can come down to nuts and bolts me. What has what Tina told me about going through with this, and like I've got more emails where she says it's going to be happening. I should have the house in my name in 3 months, and this is the ultimate test. In 3 months, if she's saying, "Oh no, it's going to be another 3 months" or something like that, then okay, I'm not going to believe it. But if in three
Right.
months I'm handed a deed to a house with my name on it and a house key,
Then you
then we'll
can't
know.
deny.
So how about this? The most for me of the things that she mentioned, the most important thing is the house. You guys don't see it, but I live in a dilapidated shack. Literally, the floor under my bed is collapsing. Two
Hmm.
years ago, it completely collapsed. I had to move out for 10 days while they patched it. They didn't even fix it. They patched it and it's started to fall down again. When I'm in America, we're supposed to do a real fix on it. They're going to rip up the entire floor. They're going to pour cement under the floor and they're going to completely redo the floor.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
because
Nice.
I have it, because I have an outdoor kitchen and my neighbors are their property is I mean there's just a wall between us, right? I mean there's no space, and because it's outdoors, it's impossible to stop the rat infestation. After
Mm.
what happened, it was really weird. I have traps. I keep traps out all the time, and
Mhm.
for the longest time, I didn't get anything, but I knew that the rats were there. I could hear them at night squeaking and fighting and running around, but none of them were going into my traps. After the earthquake, I got 5 rats in 3 days,
Oh my goodness.
and they were huge too. I mean, like one of them must have
Mm.
weighed like a pound, and so there had to be a correlation. The earthquake did something to them that agitated them and got them out running around. Anyways, the neighborhood I live in is not good. Um, so this house, and let me show you the house. If you guys are still with me, I appreciate your patience. I know Sandy's not able to be here all the time, but um, this I could imagine this live stream seems pretty boring.
And that's funny, Sandy.
What's that?
Sorry if that's what it sounded like.
Huh?
About the cards. I said about the cards. She's
Okay.
that's
Show
not
you,
what I heard.
show you this house. Where is it? Where? Okay, that's the warehouse. That's no warehouse. Where is it? Yamaha 4 bedroom house. This is only 30 minutes away from where I live. It's actually still quite small. Take a look at the photos. So there's the front of the house. It's got a nice gated. How do I make it big? I mean, this is not the living room. This is like a den or something. Pretty small kitchen, but look at that. It's got a built-in stove. That's something I know. It's indoors. It is there an air conditioner in the kitchen? It has 7 air conditioners in it, but to be able to cook and in an air conditioned place, oh my God, that would be like when it's hot here, I can't even cook. I have to order everything out.
Okay, are you showing that you're sharing? Because we're not seeing it.
Oh, I okay, sorry. See, that's why I need you here, Shuri. Let me share. Yeah, I was looking at. Okay. This,
There we go.
can I show you the front of the house?
That's
Okay,
beautiful.
so brand new place. Um, it's got a tiny little yard, but this is it has some grass. You'll see later on. 2 car parking. This would just be a good outdoor area when you want to sit outside out of the sun, play with the dogs. This is like a den entertainment area, tiny kitchen. But like I was saying, it would be so nice to be able to cook indoors instead of like I often feel like I'm camping here, this place I live in. That's 1 bedroom. It's all fully furnished. This is all the furniture that's in the place. It's funny, even though it's this nice, it still has the outside shower. It's called a wet shower, so the floor gets wet as you take a shower. But still, it's pretty nice. That's an so here's the main living room. So you got that small one, like a den, and then this main living room. That must be the front of the house. This is probably the front entrance. In Thailand, a lot of places in Thailand have the front door is like a sliding glass door.
Oh, wow.
Huge dining room. Six,
Mhm.
7 people can sit at the dining room. So you guys are going to have to come visit me to fill the space. Look at there's a TV in the dining room and a TV in the living room.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, that's not a TV. That's a counter. Okay, but still. I think this is like a maid's room. It's down the downstairs bedroom. It's like for a maid, which I'm not going to have. Upstairs, I've got Nina.
There you go.
Upstairs hallway. It's got 4 bathrooms. This is one
Wow.
one room, like a guest room. It's a nice day bed they have in there.
Yeah.
I think this is like a walk-in closet or something. This must be the master bedroom. Yeah, that's the master bedroom.
Nice.
Another bathroom. Square toilets. That's fancy.
Look at that. Yeah.
Uh, this is must be the that's the front of the house. That's like I was saying, that's the front door where you come in. So it's got this little grassy strip over there. That's where the dogs can go. Much better than going on the cement slab in front of my house. I have to clean up all the time. At least with grass, it'd be better. So that's the house. Now,
Nice.
now that we've established Sam Moston is the real deal and the AUG group is the real deal, and this is the house that I'm supposed to be bought and put into my name. I'm just going to look at this house and I'm going to say, what is my relationship to this house in the future? That's the way I'm going to ask it.
Okay.
Is anybody still with us in the live stream?
Oh, yeah. We still have Sandy and we still have, I think Lady T is still here.
Okay. So the house. The house is on Bangkok Boulevard. That's the name of the place. That's the name of the community that it's in, the gated community. By the way, it has 24/7 security, and the pool is like a communal pool that's at the entrance. That looks really beautiful too.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Nice.
and there's also a little park that's off in the neighborhood, like where you can take your dog, I guess, or whatever. Or
Safe walking for Sandy.
yeah, yeah, and I'll just be able to walk around that neighborhood for my walks. I'm sure there won't be roaming vicious pit bulls in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Probably everybody has Shih Tzus and Pomeranians that has dogs there. Okay, so what is my relationship to this house moving forward? And the yes or no question to this is, will I get it in the next, let's say, 3 to 4 months, or anytime really in this year? King of Cups, that's me. I think King of Pentacles. Well,
There you go.
there's my castle, and there's a yes. And by the way, the reason this is cups and this is a yes of cups is because this is a manifestation that I've created. And this was the card that was over here when we asked about the group, and they're the like the factor, the unknown factor. So they're actually, and so the way I can interpret this is it's movement. I'm moving house. So I'm going to be moving there. And this is me becoming the owner of the house, right? And then in the future, moving to that house. And there's some of my confirmation bias in this as well. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
but that's really the only way I can read this card because it's also passion. There's a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, which I would be feeling, a lot of excitement. Um, uh, this card can be negative and it can be like aggression, something like that. But you look at the cards that are beside it, and what did I say about me manifesting? This is the manifestation card. This is my higher self. This is me like in communication with my higher self, which is telling me that this is true, which I can't trust it because I want it to be true. So I'm a little iffy there. But yeah, I would say that this is saying that the house is going to be put into my name, and then I'm going to be moving there, and there's going to be a lot of emotion around that. Because yes, there would be. I'll probably cry if I mean, if I have the key and I open the door and I walk into that house, I'll probably drop to my knees crying if I see my name on the lease. And another king, I just want to see more. And then the moon is just because this is a very mysterious thing that's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like it's confusing, right, Cherie? It's like hard to believe, right? And that's all the things that come with the moon. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to be moving into a new house.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah, but it also I don't want to believe it because then I get my hopes up too bad and then I'm stuck in this dilapidated shack for another 5 years or whatever. So
Nope, we're going to manifest it for you. Sending positive thoughts and positive energies.
okay, so the house is $310,000, right? Which is to me an unimaginable amount of money, but it's kind of still within the realms of possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
The motorcycle is like $2,000, $2,500. That's what my motorcycle costs. That's also not difficult to believe. But the Gulfstream 700G. So far, this is what we've got. Sam Moston, Ms. Sam Moston, is legit and has the ability to do what she says she's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The 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 crypto group AUG that she's with is legit. The cards say is legit and is going to do everything they say. It looks like the house is mine to move into, will be mine to move into at some point in the near future. So let's look at the jet.
Okay.
This is like the and the motorcycle. Like I don't even really need the motorcycle. In fact, that motorcycle is not really good for me because it doesn't have a flat bed where your feet go. It's a scooter, by the way, not a motorcycle, it's a scooter. Because I need that flat bed where Sandy can ride when I take her for rides with me. That motorcycle doesn't have has just like a saddle. So if she, I mean, I'm not going to turn it away if she buys it for me. Maybe I can put like a platform on the back seat where Sandy can ride or something like that.
There you go.
But Sherry and I were joking about this, and I'm like, well, come on. If she's buying me a $300,000 house and a $70 million airplane, she can't buy me a Mercedes Benz and a chauffeur and pay for the
Yep.
chauffeur. Oh, that reminds me. Let me read this second email. Let me finish reading the second email from her because this is wild, guys. All right. How do I get out of this? Um, what's going on here, man? How do I close this? Let me escape. There we go. Okay. So that was the house. Let me go back to her original email. Where is it? Okay, I am gifting one. What would you think if you got an email like this? I'm asking everybody.
I would think that I am dreaming.
Yeah, like all day yesterday, I'm like, nah, this can't be real. And then then when I got this email, it comes more and more real. So she says, Google her if you wish. That's where I left off. I will have to send her and her team all your information. So they will have the knowledge ahead of time when they will purchase the property, motorcycle, jet, etc. I think I invested 6 times so I could gift so many of my loved ones, long life friends, and people that have helped me through COVID times. I still follow Tarot by Janine and look at the readings like I look at yours as well, and people who are on the same page as I am, timeline wise. So that's interesting that she says that because Honey mentioned that she was on a different time. Maybe I'm on a different timeline because I don't know. Something weird is going on in my life right now. I have to tell you. It feels like it's coming to some type of climactic crescendo with this trip to America. I don't know. And people who are the same. Okay, all my shares that I've invested to go in blockchain system with smart contracts written in the blockchain. Then the process from here is I will give the AUG team your details to transfer the ownership in your name. With your jet, there will be a pilot and a ground crew whilst you fly. Also, your closest airport will be Bangkok Airport, so I guess that's where your jet will live. I like the way she says that. Um, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention all this is the part that kind of knocked me for a loop. All the purchase fees, and I expected it, but anyways, all the purchase fees, HOA, insurance fees, maintenance fees, electricity. See, I thought I'd have to pay my own electricity. Electricity, gas, utility bills, service fees are paid for life. All I have to do
Yeah,
is
that
pay for food and luxury items that I want. And this right here, the this would make me feel wealthy if this happened. Even if I didn't get any money, just on the money that I earn doing what I do, it's something like $25,000 a year. That imagine $25,000 a year for whatever I want to do. I don't have to spend it on living, right?
yeah, no kidding.
Because if you keep the property, that got me thinking last night, oh, I could sell it if it's in my name, which I guess I could, right? And so I could just sell it. Yeah. But of course, that would be kind of, kicking sand in the face of the people who did, purchased it for me. And so I wouldn't do that. Besides, I want to live in Thailand for the rest of my life, and I have a private jet. I can fly home anytime. I was telling Nina, it's like, honey, I'm going home to Florida for a week. I'll see you when I get back.
Huh. Or I want to see Texas, so I'm going to go down there for a week. Uh-huh.
Or anyway, I wanted. I mean, like I said before, I'm sick of traveling. I don't want to travel. I hate going through airports. I hate sitting in those cramped seats on those planes, dealing with immigration, all that stuff. If I had my own plane and I could sleep on the plane and go anywhere, well, hell yeah, I'd be going to all kinds of places.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Okay.
Go
So
down to,
all that and your gorgeous wife will pay is food to keep and upkeep of yourselves. Once I am able to get liquidity on cryptos, this could be a question for the card. When, because so she hasn't gotten liquidity. Now, I think I understand what that means. The cryptos themselves have no value. They have to be sold to somebody else. That would be the liquefying the cryptos, right?
mm-hmm,
I will set up a foundation with my long life friend, barrister. For those who don't know, that's a lawyer, Robert. Uh, I will set up a foundation. So, like a foundation like Scott's Dog and Cat Rescue or something like that, right?
mm-hmm.
For your healing center and help you to secure all the animals in Thailand. Not just Thailand, I'll be trying to help animals in all impoverished nations where they're not taken care of properly. And to rehouse them to animal lovers. So this process may take 2 to 3 months tops. Yeah, that's where I got the timeline from. I feel a lot better and received your email. There's so much to process, you and your wife. Okay, so where was I? What was I going to ask next? Oh, the jet.
The jet, yeah.
So far, my cards are saying that Ms. Sam Moston is legit. The crypto group AUG is legit, and the house is in my destiny, my future. It's going to be my house. In fact, with that King of Pentacles there, they may have even started already, like working on the paperwork for it.
Wow.
Or somebody, she's already given my name to somebody, and they're actually like looking at it right now. It's in the process. But like I said, $300,000 house, yeah, it's crazy, but still within the possible realm of imagination, right?
All right.
Um, but the jet is $70 million, and that's just the base fee, not including hangar fees and maintenance fees and paying
Fuel
the
cost.
ground crew and the pilot. Oh, by the way,
Mm.
you can bet that I would try to fly over Antarctica. It- you
I
know,
want to be with you. I want to see.
yeah, yeah, you could bet. Or actually, what might even be better is the North Pole because that's where there's supposed to be a hole going into Agartha. If I was there and I saw like a hole and there was like a sky through the hole, I would order the pilot to go through that hole. Let's go. Let's get out of this
Let's
place.
go. Amen. Definitely.
Okay, so it's a brand new Jets Gulfstream 700G. Is that going to be my plane? Or is it going to be like maybe it's a communal plane that like everybody will be able to use or something like that? I don't know. Or is this just complete utter BS?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Unnecessary worry.
Well, yeah, this is like all you and me talking, going, no, it's impossible. It can't be. We're thinking of all these reasons why it can't be, right?
Mhm.
Or since this is me and this is people that I'm telling this, they're all like, oh no, hanging there, you're like, nobody believes it.
I believe it. I believe it's going to manifest.
Two of Cups. So in her email, she says she's giving me the jet so I can see my friends and family. So connections, making connections. This says yes, that the information that I have is true. Okay. And then this is going to allow me to make connections with more people. I mean, think about it, Cherie. If I started posting videos on my YouTube channel of me in a private jet, I would go viral. You know,
Oh, yeah. Most
my
definitely.
YouTube channel would just blow up. There, would- I could conceivably fly around the world having doing personal readings for people and getting paid big bucks. If I became like if I really if somebody said, look at Scott, he got this jet, he must be being blessed for some reason, he must be special. So if I said, okay, if you want to meet me in person, I'll fly to you and you pay me $500 for a session, because there are people
Mhm.
with that kind of money who could do it. This is just dream. Okay, this is part of the dream. So just go with me, folks. All right, and let's finish the reading here. So the Eight of Cups, this is being able to go into travel. Okay, it's traveling, but it's traveling, just going to other lands, far off lands. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then temperance, like I said, like especially next to this too, it will allow me to build relationships with people and um, for the for by the way the protection of animals. That's what this is all about. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
Now some people might be saying, Scott, if you have all this, why are you wasting it on soulless animals, who have no consciousness or whatever, or they're just
Oh,
animals, they're not people, there are people who need it more than you. Well, when I came to Thailand, the hardest thing for me to adjust to was the animals on the street. So I mean, I some of the horrible things I've seen, I wouldn't want anybody to see it. And you have to become jaded a little bit to it, because you can't cry every time you see a dog with a broken leg hobbling down the road, right?
no.
Or some of the horrible things I've seen. Um, and if I had a magic wand and I could do anything, I would help these animals. And I also, the big thing, people need to be educated here about how to take care of animals. There need to be laws in place. You shouldn't be able to just get a dog and put it in your front yard and let it run around anywhere it wants and reproduce as much as it wants with no responsibility. That's what people
Yeah.
do here. Uh,
So sad.
yeah, and it's also, there was a toddler killed not too long ago, um, because of people not knowing how to take care of their dogs. There was a monk that was killed in his quarters by his pit pet bull that then ate his hand and part of his face.
Mm.
Um, so there's a big and I know it happens everywhere. I know it happens in America too, but in Thailand it's really bad. There's almost a story every month of somebody being killed by um, pit bull terrier mixes in Thailand that are just not they're not raised properly. So it's like a loaded gun with a hairpin trigger on a vibrating tray. It's going to go off and it's going to hit somebody eventually. I still don't blame dogs.
Mm.
All right, so the Jetsy, yes. I don't know. Now, despite all this, there's still this part of my brain that says it's all bullshit, though. I can't get past I can't get past this. It's too good to be true, right? I'm gonna have to see it happen before I
I
can.
can understand that. But I
uh,
also know that with all of us praying for the manifestation of it coming true for you, it's going to come true.
By the way, 4 bedroom house, one room. There's going to be one room for guests and plenty of room on the sofas for people who want to come visit me. I'll come pick you up in my private jet.
I'll be at the airport. As much
And
as I hate airports, I'll be at the airport.
I don't know. I'm still waiting to wake up, or I don't know. But that's about all I got for you guys. That's all I want to talk about. Here, the thunderstorm out there is approaching, so I'm gonna have to leave here soon and go secure the house for the storm. Make sure, sometimes when it's bad here, we get a flood. What is so different this year from last year? The weather. Last year was an El Nino year, and that's when we were hitting 120. By this time last year, no clouds. There were no clouds in the sky last year, this time of year. And it stayed that way until like July or August. And this year, totally different. Big puffy clouds in the sky. Is hot, but manageably hot, like 95, 98. finally got my air conditioner fixed. I don't know if you guys remember, but it would happen every Sunday around 1 o'clock. Everybody in the neighborhood would turn on the air conditioners, and my power would brown out. And I'd have electricity, but my fans would slow down, and my compressor on my air conditioner wouldn't work. I've been here 5 years. I call and complain every time. They say, "Sir," last time I called, they said, "Sir, there's no outages in your area." I go, "Listen, I'm not an electrician, but here's what I think is happening. Everybody else is drawing power off my grid that I'm on, the whatever this section of that my house is on, and my air conditioner can't operate." Finally, after 5 years complaining about this, I said, "I'm going to call you every time my compressor turns off and I feel it get hot in my room. I'm going to call you every time until something is done about this." Finally, they sent out two engineers. They climbed the wire and they climbed the pole and they changed the wire. They put on like a bigger gauge wire. Now, guess what? My air conditioner doesn't cut off anymore.
Oh,
Thank God.
wow.
Just and but the attitude, I want you to understand, like when I would tell Nina about this, she'd say, "Oh, that's just there's nothing you can do about it, Scott. It's just the way it is." And she would argue with me because I would ask her to call the electric company because it's easier to do it in Thai. They do have it in English, but sometimes even their English is not that good. And she
Mm.
would just refuse. She'd just say, "No, why? Why bother?" And this is Thai mentality that you don't question the reality that's given to you. You just accept it. Whatever it is, like even like in restaurants, and it doesn't matter how good your Thai is. I've been in restaurants with my partner or with other Thai people. They order something and they don't get what they want. Instead of sending it back, they just say, "Oh, okay," and they eat it. I
Oh,
don't do that.
heavens.
I send it back and I say, "Get it right." Which, anyways, there's a lot of frustrating things about living in Thailand, but I finally got my air conditioner fixed. Not
Hallelujah.
the just the power supply to the air conditioner. All right. Guys,
Sometimes
this
people
is why
think,
I'm doing this as a members only chat because I need to just get some stuff off my chest. And so it really doesn't matter if nobody was here, just me and Cherie. This is what I would be doing. I'm going to keep going, Cherie, if you're going to hang out for a while longer, because I got some other things I want to talk about.
sure, no problem.
Yeah, so just feels like this thing that's happening with this email that I got yesterday. One reason I believe it is because of these synchronicities that are happening, like I said before. And it feels like my life is coming to some kind of crescendo. Okay, so this reminds me of this dream. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. I want to go grab a map.
Okay.
Okay, so I haven't tested this out, so I don't know how this is going to play out on camera. It's a little bit dirty. It's hanging for a couple of years. So put it down here and then put the camera down on it. Okay,
Ah,
so I used to have a lot of recurring dreams when I was a child. And one of those dreams was I was flying over the USSR. So these dreams happened when I was like before I hit puberty or whatever, right? And there was
mhm.
this one dream. where, and it was a recurring dream. I had it many, many times. I'm in an airplane. For some reason, I'm standing in the cockpit, so I'm looking out through the cockpit. But I don't think that really matters. Anyways, I'm over the USSR, and the plane starts to go down, and it crashes in the USSR. So I
Oh,
was looking at, and here's my, this is a it's not a flat Earth map, okay? It's this is a replica of, oh, I got it upside. This is a replica of a map that was used during World War II for um, missions, for flight missions. Okay. And
mm,
the resolution's really bad, so you can't see names, but I was looking at the route that my flight is taking. Okay. And so here's Bangkok right here. And the first place I'm flying to is Vienna, Austria. And that's right around here. Okay. So it'll probably pretty much a straight line over Asia into Europe. Okay. And then from here, it's I go to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt we'll go like this down over Greenland, Nova Scotia, New York to Florida. Okay, so that's the route. And
okay.
then and this is the Ukraine right here, which used to be part of the USSR, which is now an independent state, Ukraine. And for some reason in the dream, I'm flying this way, not this way. And so when I would have this dream, I'd always ask myself, and it felt real too. It was like one of those dreams. Uh, uh, Cherie, you call them lucid dreams, right? Where they feel real,
Right.
and and then I would try to make sense of it. If this is a prophetic dream, or if this dream has a meaning, why am I flying over the USSR? What in what scenario in my life going forward will I ever be in a position where I'm flying over the USSR? It just seemed unfathomable to me at the time. Now, look what's happening. Okay. And
Hmm.
so, and so, yes, I am saying that it's possible I had a prophetic dream that I'm in a plane crash over the, the Ukraine. And you might be thinking, oh, Scott, don't think like that. That's dark. And, you're not going to die. I'm not worried about death. I don't look at it the way I guess other people do. I've flirted with death my whole life. I've been a daredevil. I've done all kinds of crazy, crazy things that should have killed me. Riding a motorcycle in Thailand for 20 years, I've defied death every single time I've gotten onto that motorcycle. Okay. It's the leading cause. Waterfalls are the leading cause of death of tourists in Thailand. Motorcycles are number two. Um, okay, but
Heavens.
anyways, so I'm not being morbid. I'm not afraid. I'm not going, oh my God, I'm afraid I'm gonna, but I had that dream, you know, and so anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. So if I'm flying home from the Ukraine and a stray missile hits my plane and I go down, you're gonna remember that I told you that it could happen. Is it probably gonna happen? No. Like the odds statistically of it happening are less than 1%, less than a tenth of a percent, actually.
And not only that, but we keep jumping timelines, so that might very well have been an old timeline that's no longer in action.
Yeah.
But then again, just because the plane goes down doesn't necessarily mean you're going to die in it either.
Well, here's the thing. I don't die in the dream. In fact, what happens a lot of times is like in those Bugs Bunny cartoons where the plane's falling and he's able to jump out and like walk away.
Uh huh.
Something like that happens in the dream as well. So I also want to talk. So all these synchronicities are happening, right? the 777 with my name being 777. Here's another one, earthquakes. Um, Let me share this with you. This is really freaking weird, okay? And it's like only my life. My cousin would call this Scottish. I live in a Scotticentric universe. In philosophy, it's called solipsism. It's where you think that you are the main character in this reality, and everything that happens in this reality happens from you because of you and is directed at you. It's very some you could say it's narcissistic to believe this way, right? Wait a second. Um,
But you have to
but
admit, numbers keep showing up.
Well, I think if everybody were to be open to this and analyze their own lives this way, you would find that your universe is also tailored directly to you if you knew how to look at it and if you really could believe it. In my case, that's why it's happening to me because I started thinking like this 30, 40 years ago, you know. So I've been
Hmm.
nurturing this idea. Anyways, so about these earthquakes that have happened and have happened to me, the ones I have felt in my lifetime. Okay, I posted it here. See if I did I put it here?
And Sonny was wondering if the plane crash was in your Gulf Stream.
Yeah, that would explain why I was able to be in the cockpit.
Hmm.
So I'm looking for the link. So okay, and while I'm looking for it, if I can't find it, I'm just going to tell you. So growing up in Melbourne, Florida, my cousins lived in Merritt Island, Florida. Here it is. Okay, my cousins lived in Merritt Island, Florida, and Merritt Island back then was a much smaller town, and his parents had a lot more money than my parents, and it was like a playground for us as kids. um, I went there every weekend when I didn't have something else to do. I went there every weekend. My mother would drive me 10 miles and my aunt would meet me at the 10 miles. It was 20 miles from my house, and I did it every weekend. So it was a Saturday. I looked it up. It was a Saturday, October 27th. So it was 7 days after my birthday. I was in Merritt Island, and my aunt and uncle they drank a lot of bourbon, and they had these decorative bottles on shelves that lined the kitchen. And as we were all sitting there, where is it? Because of the past 2 decades, earthquakes. Florida's most recent. It was in 1976. Hold on a second. Where did I see? Anyways, instead of trying to do this, am I sharing the screen, by the way?
No.
No. Okay, great. So you weren't like, anyways, instead of me trying to read it, I'm just going to tell you what happened. So we're standing around. It's about 1:20 in the afternoon, and we're like about to go do whatever we're going to do that day, go on a boat or do whatever. And I remember the whole family, or most of the family, was standing there in the kitchen area. And all of a sudden, all the bottles started going, "Chicka, chicka, 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 chicka," and then it stopped. And everybody was like, what was that? Was there a rocket launch today? No, no rocket launches today. And somebody said it kind of felt like an earthquake. And then sure enough, it's called the Merritt Island earthquake. You can look it up yourself if you want to see it. And that was the first earthquake I had ever felt. And Florida's not supposed to have earthquakes. It does get them. They're very rare. There've been a few, and it was only felt in Merritt Island. Merritt Island is a very small area, right?
Hmm.
So that was just like, oh, and this is, by the way, when that happened, and so we were all thinking about earthquakes, and that's when we learned about tsunamis. This is when I learned about tsunamis. And when we would go to the beach, I was talking to Sherry about this. For some reason, when I was a kid playing on the beach, we knew that if the surf ever went out, the tide ever went out real far, that we were supposed to run up to the highest building we could find. That was that. And I was wondering, why do I have this information? Why did I know this? Now I remember it was that earthquake that happened in Merritt Island. So tsunami was in my consciousness, and it was something that I thought about a lot. I had a fascination for tsunamis. Okay. Now fast forward to 2004. I do this crazy thing that never should have happened to me. I feel like I was breaking a contract. I was breaking some kind of rule when I left America to come live in Thailand. It wasn't supposed to happen, but I somehow broke the laws of the universe when I did this. This is a theory that I'm working on. Okay. I'm not telling you this is absolutely true. This is, but just follow me. So in 2004, December 26th, an enormous 9.2 earthquake happened off the coast of Thailand, Indonesia, Myanmar. It's called the Boxing Day tsunami, and created a 35-foot tsunami that, by the way, swept away, as far as I know, Anna, the woman that I was in love with and hoping to reunite with at some point. I knew, in fact, I thought for sure we would. She's part of the reason why I came to Asia. She was living in Indonesia, a mile from the ocean. She vanished after the tsunami. Okay.
Mm.
But that was a once in a lifetime event. Okay. That tsunami. Like once in 100 years, something like that happens. Okay. So think about that for a minute. And it happened the year that I came to Thailand. Okay, I came in February. It happened almost a year later in December, but still, it happened in the year that I came to Thailand. Okay, now another earthquake happened. By the way, it's the same fault line, the one that split that caused the tsunami. It's the same one that goes into Myanmar, but this one was over land. And this again was a once in a lifetime earthquake that killed people in Bangkok, and I felt it. And this is the year that I'm leaving Thailand. Now, you would forgive me for finding a synchronicity here or a coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences. A once in a generation earthquake happened the year I came here that swept away someone I loved, which was significant to me. Not to mention killing 250,000 people. Okay, that tsunami did.
Oh, wow.
Now, just weeks after I buy my ticket to return, there's another once in a generation earthquake that rocks me. And it's the third one that I ever felt in my life. So the first one was in Merritt Island, seven days after my birthday. So there's a seven connection there, right?
Hmm.
And completely like want to talk about once in a generation. How many people have felt an earthquake in Florida? Probably won't happen again. Okay, so that's a once in a generation or once in a lifetime event. Once in a lifetime event happened in 2004, and now another one when I'm leaving. So you would forgive me for seeing a connection to me here, you know?
Plus, the one in Myanmar was a 7.7.
It was a 7.7. And I'm wondering if something about my life is coming full circle now, you know, and what's going to happen after this. I feel like I'm approaching some great event that's happening to me. But as I've said, what happens to me, it also happens to the greater reality of the world. It seems like there's this connection. Am I being
Definitely
scatocentric?
feels like it.
Am I just being delusional and seeing everything as being connected to me? You know, and okay, and then, so now Go to that email that happened yesterday morning. It's like I'm expecting miracles now because of all these synchronicities and all these things that have been happening. Anyways, I wanted to share that. This has been rattling through my brain for a while now.
Well, even the Bible says that all things are connected, and we are connected to everything.
All right, I think I've rambled on enough. I like I said, I just wanted. And really, it's not even important how many people listen to this, or if you think I'm crazy, that's fine. I don't. It doesn't bother me. I just had to get this out there. Something, something's coming to a final conclusion, and
Mm,
my
quotation.
fate is tied directly to what's going on the bigger picture. And I believe if everybody were to examine their lives this way, you would find synchronicities and things that surrounded you as well.
Well, there's been a lot of things happened ever since Luke left. That is
Yeah,
just like I'm fast forward now,
yeah.
you know. So I think the universe was just waiting for Luke to figure out his stuff and then leave, and it just opened up the floodgates to a lot of other things happening now. It's been a wild week and a half, 2 weeks.
Hmm.
It's
All
like
right.
the universe and the powers that be say, okay, now is the time. And it's just has started rolling.
It's time. So that's another phrase that was connected to the gematria of my name. And what was the other? Oh, I'm rewatching Lost, TV show Lost. You guys remember that? It came out. Now, here's another. Well, that came out in 2004, the same year I came to Thailand. I didn't have TV back then. I would buy the DVDs and watch them there. And I've been wanting to rewatch that series for a long time, but every time I thought about opening it, watching it, I'm like, it's not time yet. For some reason, I'm not ready to be seeing this again. And the other day, it's time. That came to me again. It's time to watch Lost. And I've been watching it now, and the synchronicities in that show with my life and the characters, each character is like a different aspect of me in different stages of my evolution, and it's blowing my mind. There's actually an episode where Jack goes to Thailand and gets his first tattoo in Thailand. I When I came to Thailand the first time in 2002, I got my first tattoo. Here, this one. Now this has been the original tattoo that I got here is just the circle with the yin yang, the earth, sea, and sky. But that was my first tattoo, and I got it here in Thailand. And then there's this scene where Jack and he goes to see a shaman woman, by the way, and she gives him the tattoo that he deserves. But it's in Chinese, and it says, "He walks among us, but he's not one of us," which was something I had been saying. That was like a personal motto of mine for years, even before this, that I live among the people of this world, but I'm not one of you. And so
Mm.
that I mean, just that synchronicity right there. The main character, Jack, is like the lead character in the show. Goes to Thailand and gets his first tattoo, and it says he walks among us, but he's not one of us. Right. And there's so
Yeah.
many others in that show. And that was the show I watched the first year that I was here, and now it's going to be the last show that I watch, one of the last shows I watch before I leave. And somebody told me it's time to watch this show again. And it's been crazy. So, and one reason, another reason why I made this members only. This show is just about me. This is a Scott-centric show today. All right, and I always feel guilty when I talk about myself during my lives because early on, someone when I didn't really have loyal, members and things like that. So one of the comments was, "This guy only talks. All he does is talk about himself." Yeah, that's true. That's what I know best is myself. And frankly, I have a very interesting life. So, you know,
That you do. That you do. I think it's
you know.
great, especially showing us how things can manifest. And this one's going to be a big one.
But see, that's what I want to try to teach people, but it's not something you can teach. And there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it too, you know. Um, I felt like I had to get as far away from the people who knew me because they knew me as they had me in this box, right? Think about the people you grew up with, the people in your family, the people you went to school with. They see you as this 3D person, but you see yourself as something much greater. But because they're always projecting their concept of what you are, it's harder for you to break out of that. So I was thinking if I go someplace that's completely foreign, nobody knows me, and I just bring my own idea of who and what I am, I can I can grow more, I can become more. And that was, you know, so I had to sacrifice leaving my home, leaving everything I knew, leaving my family behind. My father passed away. I wasn't able to be there. My mom is now sick. I'm not there. Um, so and also I wasn't able to have a stable enough life where I had a good job and could get married and have children and have all that. So I sacrificed all that for something for a bigger picture, so to speak. So you have to make these kinds of, and most people, and also have to put yourself in very uncomfortable situations. You have no idea how difficult it is coming to a place like Thailand and making it here. And then with all of the things I had stacked against me.
Mm-hmm.
Before I flew to Thailand, the farthest I had ever traveled from my home was to Maine, and I walked there. The longest distance I'd ever traveled in my life before I came to Thailand was on foot. Just let that sink in for a minute. Uh,
I can't imagine doing it.
and then I'm coming to do a job that I have no qualifications for. I have no I have my education is only a GED. I'm dyslexic, so I have this learning divergence. It's not a disability, it's a divergence. And by the way, for anybody listening, when I talk about my dyslexia, I'm not putting myself down and I'm not saying poor me. I'm special because of my dyslexia. Okay. And also with dyslexia comes a high IQ. Okay. I'm not bragging about it. It's not something I'm like, oh, look at me. I've got a 127 IQ. I'm in the top 5 percentile, which is true. But with it comes this dyslexia, which I think is why I'm a good tarot card reader, I guess. Um, Cherie, you said something interesting about dyslexia being hybrids, and I wanted to learn more about that. What did you learn about that?
Oh, it's off-world or hybrid, and there's certain um, ones that come in with a dyslexia because I know Victoria is one also, and I've always felt that she was a hybrid also. It's just that when you are a hybrid and come down to earth to help out, it makes you special and you have a harder time with the language here because you are actually seeing in reverse.
Well, that's a misconception of what dyslexia is. It's not just seeing things in reverse. And here's the
Yeah.
weird thing too is I don't know, maybe it was because of my dyslexia, I spent extra time studying English. Like when I finally dropped out of high school, um, I dropped out because the counselor came to me what I thought was my senior year, and she says, "Hey, do you realize that you only have 12 credits and you need 35 to graduate?" Something like that. That wasn't the exact numbers, but it was something like that. And I'm like, well, no, it kind of would have been nice if a counselor had come to me maybe earlier and told me this, you know. And
Definitely.
and she's like, at the rate you're going, you're going to be 23 by the time you graduate from high school. And I'm like, and a light bulb went off over my head. And I said, wow, you're right. I went to my class that I was supposed to have that period. I told my teacher, "Hey, I'm going home. I don't have to be here anymore." I was 19 years old. Okay, so I'm an adult, and my biggest rival was the dean of students, boys, and he was always trying to bust me with weed, and he never did. And I walked into his office, and Mr. Green, I'm quitting. I'm quitting school. And he's like begging me. I said, no, it's time for me to go to work. I'm going to go get a job. So,
And that's kind of like Victoria too, because she had to study harder than everybody else because of her dyslexia.
oh,
But now she's gone through college and she's working as
really?
mhm,
Well, good for her. Well,
yeah.
yeah, this is what I was going to say about my language abilities. See, my grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary is way above the average Americans. Okay,
Mhm.
and yeah, so what I was saying, of the 12 credits that I had after 3 years of high school, six of those credits were in English. And you only needed three or four. No, I think you only needed three English credits in order to qualify to graduate. I had six. And the reason for that was I loved it so much. I loved my English teacher, Mrs. Wasilewski. I'll never forget her. She was special. She saw something special in me too, and she nurtured that. And I took English one, English two, British Lit, creative writing, and then another advanced English course.
Wow.
Then after I dropped out of high school, I used to read the dictionary and thesauruses, and I was
Hmm.
especially interested in epistemology or the origins of words. Where do words come from? What was their How did those words become words? And that also served me well when I became a Bible scholar, which I will use that term scholar because I spent 10 years studying the Bible. I had a Strong's Concordance, which is a book about this big and this thick, and it's got every word in the Bible in the original languages that it was in and what it meant in the original language. And when you use that and somebody would come to me with a quote from the Bible and says, "Well, the Bible says this," and then I would look it up in Strong Concordance, I'd say, "Well, no, actually, that's not what it says. In fact, that word didn't even exist when the Bible was written. It was added by the King James guys."
Yep. Exactly.
Wow, this is a long thing. What I'm trying to say is I have a special kind of command over English language because of my dyslexia, but also something I was born with. I began speaking when I was 6 months old.
Wow.
And my first words were not mama, dada. My first words were, She loves you, yeah, yeah. Beatles song. And my mom's got a baby book of mine, and she's keeping a list of my vocabulary, right? Scott knows these words now. Scott knows this word. And by the time I was 1 year old, my mom's last entry is he can say everything in full sentences now at one.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember this. I remember being 4, 5, 6 years old because I my earliest memories goes back to when I was three. But I remember being 4, 5, and 6 years old, and adults wanting to talk with me because I spoke like an adult to them. And people were just they just couldn't understand how this baby, how a toddler can be speaking to them. Like one of the famous stories that everybody used to say is I was at my aunt and uncle's and I had to use the restroom and the lights were off. And somebody said, just go and use the restroom. You're big enough, you can do it. I said, hell, I said, I ain't going in there. There's a damn ghost in there. I heard that. I don't remember saying that. But I heard that story 1,000 times when I was growing up because everybody laughed so much at it. Because I guess I was like two at the time.
But at that age, we're open to seeing things that adults have closed their
Oh,
minds
oh
off
yeah,
to.
yeah. I mean that's an aside point that yeah maybe well um my grandfather passed away and I saw his silhouette standing in my door when I was about six. I remember that.
Mm.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe I was seeing some ghost or whatever. But the point of the story is the language that I was using at 2 years old.
Yeah, very, very hybrid.
Yeah, so then I went through 6 years of special education, which if it hadn't been for that, probably never would have been able to learn to read. And probably never would have been able to learn to read if it hadn't been for the movie Star Wars, because nothing was working. I was 11 years old and I was still reading at a first grade level. I mean, I struggled to read Peanuts cartoons, and all my other friends were reading Hardy Boys and what's the other one, Nancy Drew and stuff like that. And I just couldn't get past the first page. Every time I tried to read a book, I just couldn't get past the first page. Then I went and saw Star Wars, and that just blew my mind wide open. And I went to the theater and I saw the movie 17 times. It's funny. I remember that number, 17. I saw Star Wars 17 times in the theater over 2 years. And you could see the matinee for like $1, and we would go like every Saturday or on Saturday and watch it again. I
Mm.
memorized every word of the dialogue. After that 17 years, I or 17 views, I could repeat every single word of the dialogue, which was kind of cool. Um, but then what happened was it stopped running in the theater, and it was like a drug for me. I had to get more Star Wars. And so I saw a book. I saw the book, Star Wars, the book of the movie, the first movie. So I bought that book. It was 250 pages. It took me 2 weeks to read it. I struggled and struggled, and I finally finished it. And once I finished that book, something, a switch clicked in my brain, and I call it the book barrier. Up until that time, anytime I ever tried to read a book, I couldn't get past the first page. It was a book barrier, like the sound barrier, right? Once I broke the
Mm.
book barrier, so I read Star Wars, and the next book I read was The Hobbit.
Oh,
Then,
wow.
of course, after The Hobbit, and which is a children's book, it's written for children. But then I went straight from that to The Lord of the Rings. So by the time I was 13 and I finished reading The Lord of the Rings, I went from when I was 12 years old, I was reading, I could barely get through a Peanuts comic strip. Okay. By the time I was 13, I was reading British literature. And Tolkien is a literature genius, right? And the vocabulary is into. So that's the leap that I made. And then after that, I was reading everything, and I just kept. I could never watch TV in our house because the family had control of it, and they went to watch something else I didn't like. So I was always in my room reading, 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 and and that really changed my life. That was one of the most important things that ever happened to me. As crazy as it sounds, was the Star Wars movie. And then when I
I'll be
was
darned.
19, I had this epiphany where I was going to kill myself, and the voice spoke to me and told me that I was here for a purpose to help people through these end times, which is what I'm doing now with this, and thanks to you guys. And and so by the time I was 19, I'd probably read 300 books, all fantasy books, fantasy, science fiction, stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
but I'd read so many, they all started kind of sound the same and they were boring to me. And so when I was about 19, 20 years old, I started reading nothing but textbooks. I would go to the library and I would get books on philosophy, theology, science, physics, um, because I knew I wasn't going to go to university and I didn't want to be uneducated. So I figured, well, I know I'm smart. I can read. I don't need teachers. I don't need a university. I'm going to learn on my own. And to this day, when I meet someone who's a university graduate, I'm shocked by how little they know outside of whatever it was they studied.
True, it's kind of like tunnel vision going to university and
Well,
college.
plus it's indoctrination. I mean, the you can't argue with your professor when he tells you, yeah, the Earth is a spinning globe and this is why. You can't argue with him. You won't pass, and you'll just you know be tossed out in your ear. So it's
Laughed at.
indoctrination. You're when you go into an education system, your mind is wide open and able to absorb so many things, and then they cut off everything that goes over the box that they want you to be in. Like that meme, you've seen the meme.
Oh,
Children walk into a classroom and they have these big bubbles over the head of imagination, and then the teacher comes along and cuts them down into little boxes.
yep. Dana joined us, and Serena joined us, and Dana does have a question. Super chat.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Thank you. And I appreciate the distraction. I just came from Passover at our dinner. At the end, we invite Elijah into the home. Is this nice or nefarious? Thanks, God. Okay, so first off, let me tell you what I know about Elijah. He's one of the few prophets in the Bible who ascended to heaven in his body. Okay, so the only three that did that were Moses, Jesus, and Elijah.
Right.
Okay, there's actually two Elijahs in the Bible, but I'm pretty sure this is the one she's talking about. Um, and so my what I understand from my biblical studies is that Elijah is an ascended master. He's part of the alliance, the, he's on the spiritual side of the alliance, so he should not be nefarious. Okay. Um, Now, is it possible that in your channeling you got somebody claiming to be Elijah who wasn't, and was there anything to that? So I'm going to look at the end. I'm going to look at the Elijah that you invited into your home, and see what I get on him. Okay.
This ought to be interesting.
Sandy says she thinks she's dyslexic. If you want to know if you're dyslexic or not, it's not very easy. You can't just take a test on the internet. So I've had two dyslexia tests in my life. The first one was when I was 7 years old, which I don't really remember. I just remember results. But then when I was 32, 32, 33, I wanted to take a course at the local college on creative writing. And when I told them I was dyslexic, they said, "Do you have proof?" I said, "No, those papers are gone." They said, "Okay, no problem. Go see this counselor, and she will test you and see if you're dyslexic." It was conducted over 2 days, 6 hours each day. That's how long. So it was a 12-hour process. Okay. The
Hmm.
first day I was given a lengthy, like I said, it took 6 hours to complete, IQ test. The first they give you an IQ test. And that's because they want to know if your difficulty learning or reading is because you have dyslexia or is it because you're just not very smart. And and so the first test I did when I was 7, my IQ was 125, which is in the top 5 percentile. Um, when I took the test when I was in my 30s, it went up 2 points, 127, which put me like in the top 3 or 4 percentile. Okay, so first they test your IQ. If they get a high IQ or above average IQ or something, then they say, okay, now we got to test for dyslexia, another 6 hour test. And it was interesting during the test, um, the test giver, every once in a while when I would give an answer, she would have show a look of shock on her face. And one time she told me outright, she said, I've been giving this test for 10 years and nobody has ever given the correct answer for that question. She said, you're the first person to ever do it. And to me, it was I'm not even going to tell you what the question was because it was so simple, it was stupid.
Hmm.
Okay. Actually, I will tell you what it was. She holds up a card and it's a church, the front of a church, and there are brackets over the top part of the church. So think if this is a church like this, and then there's the part of the church like this, and there were brackets around that top part, and and she said, "What is this?" And I think I said spire. I think I said it's a spire, and that's when she gave me the shocked look, and she said, nobody's ever given that answer before. And there are levels, like you could say bell tower, that would be correct, but not perfect or whatever. Spire apparently was the key word for that picture. And that's why she said nobody had ever given that answer before. So, Sandy, if you truly want to know if you're dyslexic, go to your community college, tell them you want to do a course, tell them you think you're dyslexic, and you don't have to pay for it. It's free, and they'll give you these tests. And by the way, if you're who there was somebody I had another client said they had a child who was dyslexic, but they were going to school regularly. If you have a dyslexic child and they're in regular classes, you're doing them a huge disservice because what happens when they establish that you're dyslexic, you get two things. Um, on final exams, you're allowed, well, it's just the two things with the final exam. Everything else is the same. When you're in the class, it's the same. Everything is the same. When it comes to your final exam or any exam for the class, you're given your own room because with dyslexia usually comes distraction. You're easily distracted, attention deficit.
Mhm.
So you're given your own room, a private room, and double the amount of time that everybody else gets to do it because it takes us longer to process information and come up with the answer. Um, so that's the advantage of being that. Well, it's not an advantage. That's this compensation you get from being dyslexic. All right. Sorry for the tangent, Dana. I know you're sitting there patiently waiting for me to read on this Elijah, which I'm going to do right now. Oh, and by the way, my the last dyslexia test I have the paper here. Um, there's a scale of dyslexia from 1 because there is no 0% of dyslexia. Everybody has some degree of dyslexia from 1, which is unnoticeable. Mine was 9.5. So
Oh, wow.
I'm almost as dyslexic as you can get on the scale. Okay, Dana, taking a look at Elijah for you. Sorry, but because I'm doing this private members, I feel like I can just talk about whatever I want. I don't have to worry about my audience because you guys are my friends. Okay, Dana, Elijah. So the first card is going to represent your group, the ones who are calling in Elijah. Okay, all right. Um, Four of Cups. That's a so it looks like you had yourselves well protect. You were in a safe place um, when you did this. So you had a good like solid foundation from to be making this request of Elijah. Oh, and Empress. So um, uh, the spirit is protective. It's creative. We have a fortune in the past. Queen of Cups. And Dana, I'm assuming that there are all women in your group. I'm gonna take a guess that this was a mainly um, mothers and feminine energy in your group. And and yes, there's something about so yes, this was a the kind a kind Elijah, a nice, as you said, put it, but also had something to do with strengthening family ties and and the whole and fundamental family um like culture. What's the word with the higher font? Like traditional family ties and things like that, and something about abundance and creativity as well. So yeah, Dana, you were in no worries. I think you were well grounded and protected when you asked for Elijah to come in, and so there was never any danger of calling in a an imposter, some entity that was there to do bad. Okay, so you did well there.
Quick question. Since Luke has left, I've
Uh,
had a I've had a couple of what I felt like were attacks. Did
uh-huh.
Luke leave something behind?
Okay. So that will be a yes or no in there. And when you say that, do you mean like unintentional or intentionally?
Good question. Good question.
Okay. And can you describe what felt like an attack a little bit?
Well, the one that happened just here recently is I laid down for a nap after coming home from work, and I was having a lucid dream again, and somebody came along, and it felt like somebody I knew, and they gave me a hug, and all of a sudden, claws dug into my side,
Hmm.
and I jerked up out of bed and said, "Get out of here!"
Okay.
But yeah, pain
So
persisted.
that happened during a dream then, right?
Yeah, one of my lucid dreams.
Okay. This is this is you, Eight of Swords, the Magician, upside down.
Oh, upside down.
Mhm. So no, it was not to answer the question, did Luke leave something that has some kind of energy that's attached to it? No.
Okay.
Okay. Um, but this is like in it's more like intrusive thoughts that are coming to you while you're in an unconscious state. That they're coming from you, but you don't recognize them as being from you. Okay. Um, but I would say it, but it's not a spiritual attack. It's not an energetic attack or something like that. It's um, it's just a dream coming from unconscious thoughts that haven't been assimilated yet, or shadow. Maybe they're coming from your shadow self, something like that. Okay,
Oh, that would explain why I thought the person was familiar. I knew the person, so that
that's
could
right.
be.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good to know.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to wrap this up. I think I'm doing okay with my savings for America. I haven't reached my goal yet, but I don't. My goal is $3,000 for 30 days. Okay. Um, and right now it's looking like I'm going to have maybe one and a half, 1,500 to $2,000 when I get there. But I don't have to have all the whole thing when I get there because I'm going to be working when I'm there too, right?
Hmm.
But that being said, um, this is April, so January, February, March. February and March, my YouTube earnings were really good because you guys really stepped up, and I'd had some really great shows with Honey, and I've got $700 in the bank waiting for me at home. Actually, it's in my sister's closet, I guess, because she's the one who gets paid through her bank account, my YouTube money. Usually she gets it and sends it to me. I'm not doing that because if I convert it to bot and then back into dollars, I lose hundreds of dollars doing that. So I told her just to take it out of the bank and keep it there for me. So
Good.
I made about uh I've got about $700 there. This month is April. I get paid from this month on the 21st of May. And it's going to be really low this year because I haven't been active on YouTube this month. And what I'm trying to say is, and you guys are my biggest supporters, so you don't have to help me with this. But if you can contribute a little extra in the supers, either through a thank you if you're watching this on a replay, or in the with the super chat now, anything extra you can give me this month is important because I'm going to get paid for this May 21st, right in the middle of my stay in America. And I haven't been doing much to earn money on YouTube this month. So I am asking for donations. Um, if you have the ability and it's in your heart to do it, I would really appreciate it. Um, I'm Honey's not going to be on with me this month. I'm not going to put any request to her or any pressure on her. So that's where the big source of my income comes from is when I have Honey on here. I understand that. It's a little bit hurts my ego a little bit that I can't do it myself, but I understand why you guys love to have her answer questions. All right. So anything you can contribute to my YouTube channel this month would be greatly appreciated. All right. Good, Shree. Time to go.
Okay, sounds good. I've enjoyed tonight, and thank you, Serina, for the loves, and thank you everybody for being here tonight.
Yeah, before I go, I want to come over and read what you guys are. Thank you, Sheree.
You're welcome.
I should have said, Sheree, you're excluded because you have supported me more than just about anybody, not everybody. And also Sandy, you've done enough too. So, but
Just
if you're,
remember me when you get back.
yeah, yep, you'll be the first person I give a ride to on my plane.
Good.
Which, I have to say, one reason I don't like doing readings on myself is I don't want to be disappointed if I get a bad answer. So I really was hesitant to read on this email that I got yesterday.
I know you were.
And
Mhm.
I thought I was being pretty objective how I read those cards. Don't you? I mean, you've watched me long enough, read long enough.
Yep. And I know that you were waiting, just waiting for that card saying, no, it's all fake. And I'm going, I know it's all real. We're going to manifest it for you. And it's all coming true.
I don't know. I'll tell you another thing. It's a lot, right? It's $300,000 house, $70 million private airplane, and what do I deserve that? I'm
Yes,
going
you
to tell
do.
you, I do. I
Yep.
mean, I just got all emotional for a minute.
You were told a long time ago that you have a special mission.
I gave up my life for that. I've been
All good things. All good things, Scott. All good things. You're going
I
to
did I
accomplish
didn't
a
I
very
didn't
good
get to
thing.
get married. I didn't get to have children. I didn't have a career that I loved, and I've been ridiculed and laughed at, and I don't know, not believed for so long. See that, it's not even about getting these things that because it's not the things that I want so much. These are proof. If I get this is proof about everything I've been saying. Like so much of what I've been saying now is becoming true, like I talked about aliens 35 years ago. I'm sorry, not aliens, extraterrestrials. Um,
And
anyway.
people laugh at it.
Well, I mean,
So,
I had a UFO experience, in the 90s, and I always believed in it, and I always believed in magic, so to speak, you know.
yep.
And when I started studying physics, and I began to realize that, wow, physics really is like magic. Magic does exist. Anyway, like I say, it was a long, and I know a lot of you have also had difficult lives because you've chosen to be awake and chosen to see the reality that we live in. And it's made you an outsider in your families and in your communities. So I know you guys um, understand how it felt. Uh, but yeah, I deserve it. I deserve my a private $70 million jet. I do. Why not?
And
You
you're
know,
going to do great things.
if some mumble rapper can go on YouTube and become super famous and get a Gulfstream 700 for for his for doing that crap, then certainly I should get one.
And you're going to need it to go around and help change laws on keeping pets, not just in Thailand, but all around. So you're going to do good things.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting that emotional outburst. It just like I said, just to have this confirmation, if and but if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to take it as as a as the opposite of as meaning I'm wrong. It's just not on the timeline now. That's all. All right, I got to go. My back's starting to hurt. Thank you guys. Whoever made it this long, thank you for indulging me to make it all about me today. This was a Scottish-centric podcast today. But I'm telling you, there's something weird in happening around me in my life. Okay. It's just,
Wonderful weird.
it's, I don't know. I don't know how to express it in words. All right. How do I end this? That's right. I got to
Night,
come up.
everybody.
Yep. Goodbye. Thank you all for sticking it out with me. Ugh. Got to close this. There we go. Thank you, Serena. She says very emotional full moon right now. I guess so. Maybe that's what's doing it. All right. Where's the close button? Right here. All right, end stream. Bye bye. Thank you guys.
Bye,
I,
everybody.
I appreciate every one of you. Goodbye.